And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Inside the Cage. I'm your host, Terrell Campbell. With me, as always, is Jerome Spann and Jeff Fanning. And, ladies and gentlemen, it was announced recently, and we've got to comment on it, okay? The biggest money fight in boxing is happening. We're getting Floyd Money Mayweather versus Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Now, I know a lot of people have their thoughts on this one, so I want you to make sure you tweet to us at Inside the Cage TC on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Let us know what you think. But in the meantime, Jerome, Jeff, what do you two have to say about this fight?
This is a fight we've all been waiting for. I know weeks ago on our radio show I said I was not excited for the possibility of this fight anymore. Well, I gotta kind of call myself a liar because at the end of the day, when the fight got announced, when Floyd tweeted out and said that it was finally going to happen, there was actually a lot of pent-up excitement in me that said, hey, this is going to be awesome. And I think a big part of it has to do with the fact that we've waited, what, 4 or 5 years for this fight to happen when they've been saying, oh, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And you know, it kind of got to be the running joke in the sports community where it was like, oh, you know, kind of like how they would talk about how like Patrick Ewing was never going to win a championship and stuff like that, and like when is PU going to win, or you know, that's what it became, was when are Pacquiao and Mayweather going to fight? The answer was always never, but now it is finally happening, and I'm thoroughly excited. Now, I do wonder what both men have left in the tank, especially Pacquiao, coming off of what Marquez did to him. That is going to change you as a fighter. Any fighter that's been knocked out like that will tell you, once you are knocked out like that, it changes who you are as a fighter. So it makes me wonder if Manny's going to be able to present the same challenge that he would have 3, 4, 5 years ago. Still think it's going to be a highly enjoyable fight because, you know, we know Pacquiao's going to come out and try and bring the fight to Mayweather, and that's what Mayweather wants. He's a counterpuncher. So we should see some extreme fisticuffs, and it should be very, very enjoyable. I just want to say thank you for finally doing this, but it should have been done years ago. And after this, there's not another great boxing fight left. Nobody cares anymore. I hate to say that because I grew up watching boxing and I love the sport, but this is like that last, you know, requiem to boxing. This is it. This is the wake. And the funeral will be after the fight happens. That's my opinion, at least.
No, I think you're absolutely right when it comes to the fact that this could be the fight of probably the millennia when it comes to Pacquiao and Mayweather. And all I would say, it's about time. We needed this fight a long time ago. I'm glad it's finally happening because honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing the fact that Pacquiao knock out Mayweather and finally shut him up. That's my biggest thing. I want to see him shut up because the fact that he said, oh, I'm the greatest of all time, I'm the greatest of all time, I can't, you know, nobody can beat me. I'm just waiting to see him lose just to shut up. And the biggest thing is, I believe you're right though, this is going to be the last big match because the fact that aside from them, if you're, you know, who was the last time you heard from a De La Hoya or, you know, any of the other big names in boxing? You haven't, because the fact that, well, they're all gone. And maybe there'll still be a little bit more people that are in there that are still boxing. That's great. But you're never going to see the big names like a Pacquiao, Mayweather, a De La Hoya, a Holyfield, any of those guys ever again. And I don't think we're ever going to have a big match like this probably ever again. And, I mean, with this being said, boxing, see ya. MMA is going to be basically the new boxing, and we'll never see a fight like this ever again.
There's no more superstars left in the sport, and when you are a sport that is based off of individual superstars as your draw, and you don't have any left, your business model no longer works. Plain out and simple.
All right, well, you know what, guys? Hey, I think you're both right. This is the last big money fight that there is in boxing. There's no more stars. I mean, You know, nobody can name the title holders. I think Vitaly or Vladimir Klitschko is the heavyweight champion. So that tells you right there that there is no big stars left in boxing, and since you can't name the champions, how can you want to see the challengers? All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and when we get back, it's time for us to go to war. Fantasy Warfare coming up with Bruiser Brody versus the madman himself, Luke Harper. So don't go anywhere and stay locked inside the cage.